Hi everyone, it's Christy from Green Eyed Tarot. Today we're doing Spread It Out Sunday, but on a Wednesday. So it's really Wacky Wednesday. So we're going to dive into a tarot or oracle deck spread, which I have retrieved from a deck in my collection. So basically diving into what I'm considering the vault of all of the guidebooks that I have to pull out a spread. So this series really is about the amount of spreads that we get within tarot and oracle deck guidebooks. And there's some really good ones out there. And if you're anything like me, sometimes I get decks and I honestly don't use the guidebooks that much. So a lot of times I end up missing these like amazing spreads that are within these guidebooks. So Spread It Out Sunday is really about going into my tarot and oracle deck library and just pulling out and finding a really interesting spread. And I'm really excited about this one. And we're going to do things a little bit different. So today we're going to do an oracle deck spread, but we're going to use tarot cards and oracle cards together. So the spread that we are going to be exploring and diving into today is from the Vintage Wisdom Oracle by Victoria Mosley. Now this deck has been around for quite a while. It is a US Games deck, so it is mass market. I'm trying to see, without my reading glasses, of course, with my aging eyes, the copyright, 2014. So this deck has been around a while. I love this deck. It is very versatile, and I like how it is pairing with a lot of tarot decks that I have now. So within this guidebook for the Vintage Wisdom Oracle, is an amazing spread. It's the last spread. There's a couple of really good ones, but we're going to pull out the Chatelaine spread from the Vintage Wisdom Oracle. So I'm really intrigued by this. So the origins of the term Chatelaine date back to medieval times and refer to the person responsible for carrying the keys to the house. I love that. Something about that I just love. The chain on which the keys hung was also called a chatelaine, and during the 18th and 19th centuries evolved into a pin from which all manner of practical household tools were suspended from chains. Included were items such as a pencil, keys, a needle kit, or anything useful to help with day-to-day running of the house. For safety and convenience, the pin would be clipped to a waist belt or a pocket and was later worn around the neck or attached like a brooch. The chatelaine was not only practical, but also later evolved into a decorative item of intricate beauty, reflecting the wealth and status of the wearer. So it says, this in-depth spread mirrors the usefulness and practicality of the chatelaine to reveal helpful and available influences which can assist with the spiritual maintenance of your own sacred space. So this is a 6-card spread, as you can see. And in the guidebook, it's sort of illustrating what a chatelaine would look like, which this one looks very beautiful. I would have loved to have been wearing this like on a belt around my waist. I don't know, the keeper of the keys. I just love that. So it kind of looks like what a chatelaine would look like, and here's all the tools. So let's see what each card represents. So we have card number 1 is the chatelaine, the foremost issues of the wearer. Card 2, which is here, the scissors, the most effective way to release unwanted influences. Card 3, the magnifying glass, hidden areas which are either buried or in need of confrontation. Card 4 is the needle kit, your healing strengths to the world. Card 5 is the notebook, the lesson. And card 6 is the key, the wisdom that opens your secret door to new possibilities. How amazing is this spread? I absolutely love the prompts for each card. So what I thought is we would use some a tarot deck along with the Vintage Wisdom Oracle to do this 6-card spread. So, okay, so I'm going to leave the book. I'm going to try to leave this book open. We'll see if that's going to work. I don't think it's going to work, but we're going to see. We're going to leave this here, and I need space to actually lay out the cards too, but let's for now leave that there so I can see what I'm working with here. Okay, so I think for the card number 1 in this spread, which is the chatelaine itself, the foremost issues of the wearer, I think I'm going to pull an oracle card from the Vintage Wisdom Oracle, because this oracle has 1 keyword on each card, and I think that it'll be a great place to start. I think this will be great if we use this deck that the actual spread is based on, to pull the chatelaine card to kind of be like our anchor card. So the foremost issues of the wearer. So I'm going to shuffle this. This is a pretty big deck, so I tend to shuffle it this way. My hands are a little bit smaller and I have some trouble sometimes gripping these cards to shuffle them. So sometimes I can riffle shuffle this deck, but in general, I just do this. So, all right, so let's go ahead and pick a card to represent the chatelaine. This is the foremost issue. So let's see what we come up with for our number one card to kick off this spread. So let's see the foremost issue. All right, so let's take this one off of the top. Okay, thought. So thought is the foremost issue. So this is what we're looking at for our number one card. Okay, so, all right, so now we have 6 cards that we need to pull here to create this lovely chatelaine spread that is going to represent all of these tools that we have on this like belt here. Okay, so to pull some tarot cards to go with this, I am going to be using the very beautiful Dramatis Personae tarot. This is a combo I have been loving, so we're going to go with it. So this is the Dramatis Personae tarot. I did a full walkthrough of this deck, which I can link in the description box if anyone's interested. It is a very beautiful deck, and I will also link where you can purchase this lovely deck. Creator's name is Kayla Martins. So these are the backs, which I think are beautiful. And can we just talk about this spread cloth here as well? This gorgeous spread cloth is from Sarah at Sunset Bough Tarot. She has an Etsy shop. I will definitely link that in the description box below. This is a very well made. It's double-sided. So it has this amazing print. So you're getting like 2 spread cloths for the cost of one. And it is very well made, high quality. But I do love this. And it kind of looks like a spooky Victorian, like the cameos and stuff. So I'm thinking it goes really well with this Vintage Wisdom Oracle and just the vibe we got going. All right, so let's pull some cards from the Dramatis Personae so that we can get some of these. Whoops, I just totally missed. I'm trying to look at the book at the same time as I'm trying to shuffle these cards. So let's see what we got going on. Okay. So number 2 is the scissors, the most effective way to release unwanted influences. All right, so let's go and see what the scissors, the most effective way to release unwanted influences. All right. So let's see what we're going to get here. Ooh, the 5 of Wands. All right. All right, so I'm going to pull all the cards for this and then we'll see what we have. We'll see what we're getting from this. So the 5 of Wands is the scissors, the most effective way to release unwanted influence. The magnifying glass, hidden areas which are either buried or in need of confrontation. So let's go and get our number 3 card here. For the magnifying glass. All right, so what do we got? Ooh, the 9 of Swords. Ooh, magnifying glass, the hidden areas which are either buried or in need of confrontation. Well, there you go. Confrontation in the swords. Okay, so 4 is the needle kit, your healing strengths to the world. Okay, so I think I'm going to pull another oracle card. Let's pull another one of these Vintage Wisdom oracle cards. And see what we get for the needle kit, your healing strengths to the world. Okay, let's see what we get. These monstrous cards that I am having such a hard time shuffling right now. I'm just going to pretend that's not happening. Listening. All right, listening. Okay, and we totally can't see this, can we? So let's back that up a little. Wrong way. All right, I'm just going to see if we can get a little bit further zoomed out so we can see all these cards. Okay, I think that's a little better. So we got listening for the magnifying, the needle kit. So the healing strengths to the world. All right, so now let's pull another card from the Dramatis Personae. So this is number 5 is the notepad, the lesson. So let's see what kind of lesson. Let's see what card we're going to get for the lesson. The 7 of Pentacles. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. Okay, and number 6 is the key, the wisdom that opens your secret door to new possibilities. So let's see what kind of messages we are going to get for the card number 6 here. The Chatelaine spread from the Vintage Wisdom Oracle. All right, let's see what we get. The World. Holy crikey. Okay. The wisdom that opens your secret door to new possibilities. Okay. All right. We got the World. So a major arcana card finally shows up, and it's in the last card. So I love the way the spread is laid out. It's so beautiful. So this is the Chatelaine spread. Okay, so let's think about what we have going on here. So we have the card that we pulled for the first card, which was the Chatelaine, foremost issues of the wearer. So we got thought. So foremost issues of the wearer, we got thought. So why don't we just dive into the guidebook? I mean, the issues could be, without even looking at the guidebooks, the issue could be with thought, could be negative thoughts, right? It could be thoughts that are holding us back, thoughts that are not serving us, right? Like sort of toxic, just internal sort of thought, right? The thoughts that we just have going through our heads, which could be completely not serving us and not helpful. So that could really be the foremost issue of the wearer. We can go ahead and go into the guidebook and look, as this is an oracle deck and there's only one keyword. But if I was, just kind of spitballing and thinking about what that word means and how it can be an issue, our thoughts, right, can be so invasive, and they can really intrude and just impede us making logical decisions, right? Our thoughts, if they're negative and if they're, like I said, intrusive, just intruding on. So it says, a girl rests with her head slightly bowed as if deep in thought. The quietude of the open courtyard, solitary chair, and doves huddled on top of the wall create an air of hushed contemplation. In tarot symbolism, 2 pillars represent the realm of opposites and a need for balanced diplomacy and tact, both activities of the mind. Let's see. Thought is a powerful spiritual vibration and can be used to generate atmospheres of healing or harmfulness, depending on the evolution of the thinker. Right. Thoughts can be harmful. So I'm thinking if this is an issue, this is the number 1 card, the foremost issue of the wearer, it could be that the thoughts are harmful, right? They're not being helpful. Be aware of the positive power of your thoughts and how they affect your current situation and others around you. Ooh, the quality of thoughts will always determine the wisdom of your choices. I love that. The quality of thoughts will always determine the wisdom of your choices. That's amazing. That's an amazing quote. Okay, so the quality of our thoughts, that's where we're at. That's what we're going with right now. So the quality of our thoughts right now is the foremost issue. The quality of thought. Okay, so the scissors, the most effective way to release unwanted influences is the 5 of Wands. So the most effective way, so if we think of the 5 of Wands, it's like conflict, right? This very frenetic sort of conflict, confusing, resentment sort of energy of the 5 of Wands. So if we think about the most effective way to release unwanted influences, to me would be, if we're thinking about what's going to be effective, is really not giving into this confusion and anger, right, and resentment. So kind of moving beyond that intense and chaotic energy. and maybe just looking at how we're responding in certain situations. So the most effective way to release unwanted influences, you know, I feel like would be to try to move past and ask and then think about how are we responding. Maybe the thoughts that are the issues right here are contributing to a whole bunch of conflict and confusion and causing resentment or more, or adding to an already like tense, you know, chaotic situation. And the most effective way to release unwanted influences would be to reflect on how we could be less reactive, or how we can temper our thoughts so that we don't end up in this sort of area of complete conflict where we're not moving forward, we're not getting anything done, like there's nothing being accomplished here. It's like just a card of just disagreements. And so maybe all these thoughts are causing all this sort of stress and chaos and confusion. And the magnifying glass, so that's the 9 of Swords, is the hidden area which are either buried or in need of confrontation. So, you know, the 9 of any kind of time a Swords, you know, card is arriving in the spread, we know that there can be some anguish like within that, you know, within the card. And so the 9 of Swords being sort of the hidden things that could be the messages, the things that could be hidden that need to be brought to the forefront. If we got the 9 of Swords for this, again, it's dealing with things like anxiety. So the hidden area which are either buried or in need of confrontation could be the this sort of worry, right? Sort of obsessing about something, about these things. So again, thoughts and being obsessive, like just this main sort of theme of thought, and how like our thoughts can just make us again, like I said, intrude and like make us cause anxiety and cause us to obsess over things. And like if we think about a lot of times in the 9 of Swords, right, it's the person like in bed in the traditional Rider-Waite, they're like in a bed. And so like that, we think about how sometimes our thoughts, this is so resonating for me right now, just because I know with my hormones and like the hormonal imbalance that I have going on with me because of my age and things that are going on right now, like I get anxiety and panic attacks for no reason in the middle of the night. And a lot of times too, like I'll be awake with like racing thoughts, and I just can't quiet my mind, and it'll just be all these like thoughts kind of coming in at once. And it's usually like at 3 o'clock in the morning. So very intrusive type of thoughts and energy. So if we're looking at the magnifying glass, the hidden area, which are either buried or in need of confrontation, is we need to confront these thoughts, right? We need to kind of confront them head on and be mindful of where we are with our own mental health and taking care of that, right? And being able to move from feeling like a victim, kind of like that very victim sort of mentality we have, and like move away from being a victim of our own thoughts. So the next card is the Needle Kit. So card number 4, we pulled another Oracle card. Your healing strengths to the world, listening. And could be so many, our healing strengths to the world, listening. I mean, I feel like if it has to do with conflict, like this in the 5 of Wands, and our intrusive thoughts, it's like, are we listening to, is there another person that we need to be actively listening to? Are we listening to ourselves? Are we listening to, you know, what our intuition is telling us? Are we listening to the more logical thoughts that are coming in? Like which thoughts are winning, right? Which thoughts are we listening to? So maybe our healing strength is the being able to quiet these sort of intrusive thoughts. And that healing strength is to quiet those intrusive thoughts and allow the mind to be quieted so that it can really listen to what really might be going on and what the real situation is. What is delusion? What is what we're making up in our mind from our thoughts? And what can we actually listen to? And again, we can go to the guidebook just for some additional meaning. So this guidebook is in alphabetical order, which is helpful. So a solitary winged maiden reclines in the canopy of a woodland glade. Her resplendent wings turn inward as she purposely takes time to engage in listening to the songs of her feathered friends, the birds. In this modern age, more and more emphasis is placed on the role of speaking out, but few people take time to truly give of themselves by practicing the forgotten art of listening to one another. I couldn't agree more. The deeper implication means we have forgotten how to listen to ourselves, the wisdom which comes from our heart and our connection to nature. An Italian proverb says, "From listening comes wisdom." It urges you to open response and be present in your approach. By listening carefully, you will not only gain new insight and perspective, but also bequeath others with one of the most precious gifts of all. True. So our healing strength to the world is our ability to listen. And it's something I've been focusing on so much in my life and just in my work, my professional work. We talk a lot about listening to understand instead of listening to respond, which takes a lot of mindful self-regulation, especially for me, who's someone who, as someone's speaking, I will be formulating what I want to say. Or like if I'm expected to respond, I'm sitting there like formulating my response in my head instead of actually listening to what they're saying and taking that in and listening to understand. So I think the thoughts that we have, and maybe it's in relation to someone else, and we're allowing these thoughts to drown out what they're actually saying to us. So listening instead of thinking. This is blowing my mind because it's true. We can't be thinking of our response and like running through our thoughts while someone is still speaking to us, and we should be listening to be able to hear them, to understand. Because I think when we don't do that, that's where this conflict comes from. That's where and then the conflict can lead, this conflict, confusion, and chaos, because that miscommunication is happening. Too many thoughts, not enough listening. There's too much, the chaos and confusion can just lead to that anxiety and like staying up at night and just replaying conversations over in your head, which I've done so many times. So I think that's where listening comes in. So card number 5 is the notepad, is the lesson, which is the 7 of Pentacles. And I feel like the lesson here from the 7 of Pentacles is always going to be sort of the process, like taking stock of the process, taking stock of the process of doing the work, right? Instead of like what the end product is going to be, and really thinking about the work, like doing the work again, like respecting the process. I feel like from the 7 of Pentacles, I always sort of get that idea that we need to not only reflect on the outcomes of our work and like the hard work that we put in, but that we need to recognize that the process is sort of where all the lessons are. Like going through these processes, and going through and doing the work and doing the deep inner work that we need to do when we're talking about the tarot. It's giving us ideas about the deep inner work that we have to do. So the 7 of Pentacles to me is that reflection on, and that what we've gone through, and trusting that process to me. So I feel like that's the lesson. The lesson there is that we can't just operate on sort of a like in that routine, like that monotonous, like I feel like a lot of the Pentacles, sometimes we're in that sort of, we get into our like rote work, like the rote work of doing things, and we sort of like are mechanical about things. And I feel like the lesson here in the 7 of Pentacles is to reflect and contemplate on the actual the process of going, and the work that we're doing, and how we can integrate all of that, into the into the basically, what am I trying to say? Take the lessons and integrate that into practice, right? To actually like take the lesson, learn from it, and now, apply it to the work that we're doing. And it doesn't have to be work, like the work we do. It's just the work that we do on ourselves and the work that we do in relationships. Think about that give and take of the thoughts and the listening. And there's a lot of give and take there. So I think the lesson, is to trust that process again of like what we're how we are approaching reflecting on how are our thoughts intruding, and how are we actively listening to ourselves and our intuition and others, so that we can understand to avoid all of this over here. So I feel like it's interesting. This to me is more of like the conflict, the sort of like where we need to uncover things, right? And then this over here is more of like where we're trying to get to. So card 6 is, so the 5 is the lesson, 6 is the key, the wisdom that opens your secret door to new possibilities. And we got the world. I mean, the world is that, right, is that whole, like I was talking about, taking the lessons and integrating it. So it's like integrating that into the whole. So it's really that achievement. The wisdom that opens is that I feel like if we trust the process and we trust our intuition to guide us around like these intrusive thoughts, to really listen to that inner voice and listen to that inner guide and listen to others. If that's where the conflict lies, the conflict could be within ourselves, but it could be with other people. As we see this 5 of Wands, there's someone else involved. If we see the 9 of Swords, it's us. We're in total conflict with ourselves, and we're in total anxiety, like trapped in this like victim mentality, obsessive thoughts. So this is like the conflict, like I said, and like if we're not listening and trusting this process and really slowing down to reevaluate and reflect on what we're doing, then then we're not going to get to this fulfillment. And that enlightenment doesn't always mean like the fulfillment, enlightenment doesn't always mean like we're at the end, right, of like some big cycle and we're done, because we're never done, working on this. These things are always, I think, going to be in progress, but being able to look at the big picture, right, like, and seeing it for what it is, I think is sort of that hidden wisdom. It's not necessarily some kind of fulfillment or, some kind of big end to anything. This work is going to continue. So maybe that's where the hidden wisdom is. So those are my thoughts. This is the Chatelaine spread, which I think is amazing. I think this, the layout of it is so cool. I love the prompts, and I think it's just such a neat spread. And again, another one of these decks that has been around, and like, yet it includes a number of good spreads. And I'm not going to show them all because maybe they're going to show up in another episode of Spread It Out Sunday. So this has been Spread It Out Sunday on a Wednesday. Again, it's Wacky Wednesday. We're doing things out of order, and that's okay. But let me know what you think. If you have the Vintage Wisdom Oracle and if you use it and how you use it, what you think of this spread. Like I said, I love it. I think it's just is a really interesting layout and an interesting layer. So let me know what your thoughts are on this spread. Any spreads that you're really enjoying. Are there any spreads that you've like noticed in a guidebook recently that you want me to cover in one of these videos and I have the deck, then absolutely let me know. Or if you want to send it to me, my email is in my my channel description, but I can link it in the description box. I can put it in there if you want to email me some like cool spread. And even if I don't have the deck, I'd be happy, to feature it and to do it. And I will, of course, mention you in the video for sending me the amazing spread to do. So yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts about this spread and any spreads, again, that you love. And thank you so much. And I would love it if you could give this video a like, a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I implore you to please do that. I never look at my analytics ever. I don't go on and look at, and I just happened to be on YouTube Studio setting something up the other day, and my analytics were there. And I was so surprised to find that like only 25% of my viewers are subscribed viewers. So that means the whole 75% of people are clicking on the videos, but they're not subscribed to my channel. And that's fine. Maybe they're not. Maybe you just like one video of mine. Maybe there was just one video you liked and the rest of them you're not really that into and you don't really connect with, which is totally fine. But if you have happened to click on a few of my videos and enjoyed them and gotten something out of them, then I would so appreciate it if you would consider hitting the subscribe button and subscribing to my channel. And I thank you so much. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.